Hello friends, it's Lex at LexReads. Today we are going through my Olympic Games TBR. I will link the announcement video down below so you have all of the information about this super awesome Percy Jackson themed readathon that's taking place the entirety of the month of June. I'm really excited and I hope you're excited too. Full disclosure, your girl here is a child of Apollo, and I am not on Team Apollo. I get it, that seems a little silly. My reasoning for this, as soon as I tell you my reasoning, you're gonna be like, okay, that actually kind of tracks. So this is because I hate audiobooks, which I've talked about before. I don't like audiobooks. I'm glad they exist. I think it's great that other people like them. I just do not enjoy them. And that's one of the Apollo prompts. And then the option is, but it's one of the mandatory prompts. And then the option is, if you don't want to do one of your mandatory prompts, you can replace it with the group book. But the group book is a historical fiction, and I also don't like historical fiction. So instead, we're gonna hop onto another team. Maybe next year I'll do Team Apollo. Who knows? But this year I'm going to be on Team Hades because he's my favorite of the big three, and Persephone is actually my favorite of the Greek goddesses. I think Persephone is super cool, so why not be on her husband's team? Yes, so I'm Team Hades. Welcome to Team Hades. Tell me down below if you're also on Team Hades. We should chat. But without further ado, let's just get into my actual prompts. So every team has 5 mandatory prompts and then some amount of extra prompts after that, advanced prompts, if you will. And so I asked, though, if we wanted to do all of the advanced prompts or more of the advanced prompts than we were given, if that was allowed. I was told yes. So I have a book for all of the extra prompts just in case I get to them. But we'll see. The first Team Hades prompt is Ghost King, read a book that features the undead. And for this one, I want to read the next book in the Raven Cycle, which I'm reading the Raven Cycle for the first time right now and really enjoying it. If you've read the Raven Cycle, you know how the undead is featured in the series, but I don't want to spoil anything, so I promise there's undead. I have not read The Dream Thieves yet, but the plan is to read this before June, so theoretically Blue Lily Blue will be the one that I read, but whichever way the cookie crumbles, we'll see. The Raven Cycle is about this group of teenagers. One, we follow Blue Sergeant, who's been told since she was a little girl that if she kisses her true love, he's gonna die. And then also the Gansey and all of his friends who are students at, I can't pronounce, Aglianby? I don't know how to say the academy's name, but they're Raven Boys, and they kind of fall together. Gansey and his friends are on the search for Glendower, a sleeping Welsh king. Blue gets wrapped up into it. It's magical and kind of confusing and a fun ride. I want to read the next one. That's the plan. The next prompt is bring something back from the dead, reread a book. I'm going to be doing a Percy Jackson reread during the month of June. But not only that, I'm doing a buddy read with my best friend. So we might start before June, but we're not going to finish all of them before June. So whichever Percy Jackson book I'm on at that time, hopefully will be my reread. Either that, or I'm also currently rereading the All for the Game series. So the Raven King might end up on my June TBR. We'll see. Honestly, I just love rereading, so it's anyone's call actually what I'll reread, but those are just some thoughts. Maybe those. The next prompt is to read a book with a dark cover because, it's dark in the underworld, so I want to read We Unleash the Merciless Storm by Taylor K. Mejia. This book is the sequel to We Set the Dark on Fire. These books are female Latinx dystopians. It's a very fun universe. I've talked about it a few times on my channel. But just for a quick rundown about the first book, if you're interested. So the series takes place in this country, city-state place where the affluent men at the center of the city receive 2 wives. So one of their wives is supposed to like keep the house in order, and they employ the house staff and are supposed to be the man's right-hand woman, so to speak. And then the other wife is to make everything beautiful and happy and warm and to keep him happy. They're the ones that carry the children. And we follow 2 women who have had their differences while they were studying at school, but they end up married to the same man, and our protagonist ends up mixed up in the rebellion that wants to like overthrow this system. The 2 women kind of fall in love a little bit. It's very fun. I love espionage and I love dystopians, so this series, right up my alley. I cannot wait to read the sequel. Next up, we have Let the Fates Decide, because, you know, the fates are cutting them strings. When I ran my Goodreads TBR through a random number generator, we came up with Bunny by Mona Awad, which I'm actually super excited about, because every time I let fate decide my team off my Goodreads TBR, I'm like, I'm going to end up reading some Ayn Rand or, like, For Whom the Bell Tolls. But no, we lucked out. Bunny, I'm not entirely sure what Bunny is about, which is wild because I've heard... Ooh, sorry, I hit my camera. I'm not entirely sure what this book is about, which is weird because I've heard so many people talk about it. Specifically, Kayla from Books and Lala and Gabby Reads. They've both loved and talked about this book. I know it's got this weird culty secret society dealio going on. I'm pretty sure it takes place during, like, at a school, at higher education. Because I've also heard that it's, like, a little bit dark academia, like, if you squint a tiny bit. But the protagonist falls in with this cult-like group of, like, secret society group of women who all call each other Bunny, and that's about all I know. Can't wait to read it. The next one is to complete a prompt that honors Hermes. The Hermes prompt that I picked was read a book somewhere that you would like to visit, and I wanted to read a little bit of sci-fi. So I want to visit space. I'm going to read The Disasters by M.K. England, which I've had on my TBR for a little bit over a year, and I was so excited when I bought this, and I still haven't gotten to it. This book is about our protagonist, Nax. I've heard it's kind of found family, but our protagonist, Nax, who gets kicked out of this very important elite space academy, and he and some other people are on their flight back to Earth when this huge terrorist attack happens. When this huge terrorist attack happens on the academy, they are the only 3 or 4 witnesses. Are there 4 of them? There are 4 of them. So Nax and these 3 other expellees, wipeouts is the word that they use in the description, are the only 3 witnesses, but are also very easy scapegoats. So I've heard it's a little bit heist story-esque, but also is basically about these 4 people trying to clear their names. Science fiction, YA, found family. I'm excited. We're doing it. Another thing about this readathon is you can't double up on books, so I couldn't read the same books for 2 prompts, just so you know. Moving on to the 2 advanced prompts for Hades. The first is Sword and Shield. Read a book with a character that you don't think you would get along with. This one was hard for me because I tend to gravitate towards books with protagonists that I like. Is that weird? I'm not one of those people that loves to read about characters I hate. I know some people like that. So I have this book, but it's kind of hard. It's kind of out of the way to get right now, so I'm just going to pop up a picture of the cover. But Red, White, and Royal Blue. I have no reason to think I'm not going to like these protagonists, but from some of the quotes and stuff I've seen, the American boy seems kind of annoying, so maybe I won't like him. If I do like him, does that ruin the prompt? I'm afraid. I'm going to read Red, White, and Royal Blue for this, and everyone can fight me, I guess, if I like both of them. I don't know. Monster Fighting, a book that features magical creatures. Once again, I'm doing a Percy Jackson reread, so my thought process was that since basically all these books have at least one magical creature in it, whatever Percy Jackson book I'm at the time, another one, a separate one from the reread, if this ends up also being a reread prompt for me, but whichever book I'm on for that, I was going to count for this one. And then the other advanced prompts, just in case I get to them, I'm participating in 4 readathons next month, though, so there's not actually any guarantee I'll get to them. So I'm just going to run through them very quickly. The first one is Archery, which is read a book under 200 pages. I'd like to read Symposium by Plato. It's one of the only books that I own that's shorter than 200 pages. This prompt, or prompts similar to this, come up in so many readathons, and I don't own very many really short books. Oh, I guess graphic novels are short. I could read one of my graphic novels, right? This is less than 200 pages, so I could read a graphic novel. Either Symposium or a graphic novel that's less than 200 pages. We'll see. Capture the Flag. Read one of your most anticipated books. I have to read this one in June anyway, and I've been waiting to read it because this is the Literally Dead book club pick for June. And I got it in April and have been biding my time to read it because I want it to be fresh in my head for that book club discussion. This book takes place on a remote island outside of Ireland, at a wedding. It's a classic whodunit. Someone gets murdered. Everyone in the wedding party has a motive. Whodunit. Cannot wait. The Guest List by Lucy Foley. The next book in a series, another Percy Jackson book. Pegasus Writing, a book released in the last 5 years. I want to read autobiography. And lastly, finally, Canoeing, read a book with a blue cover. I'm reading Bloom, which is a graphic novel that I'm actually reading for one of my other readathons, but I'm double dipping for that readathon and this readathon so that I can hopefully do better in both readathons. A couple of these are actually double dips, but sue me. All right, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I had a blast talking to you about my TBR. Like I said, go down in the comments and we can chat about it. Let me know what team you are participating on. If you're participating at all, let me know what you thought about any of these books. And I will see you very soon. I have a few videos coming out this week, so I'll definitely see you tomorrow at least. Goodbye, friends. Thanks for hanging out. I will catch you on the flip side.